Confessions number 35.
Welcome to the Bastards Council.
Yes, welcome. So today we are going to talk about Charlottesville.
Fuck Nazis.
And we're going to talk about...
Mayweather versus McGregor.
There you go, the fight of the goddamn century.
Of the century. But once again, fuck Nazis.
Does it look like I give a fuck? Oh, it's a mirror, it's backwards.
Fuck Nazis.
Let's get to this.
Hard work!
Why are you smiling?
So giddy.
I'm happy.
You're happy. We're once again without Armin. That fucking...
Fuck that guy. The council has spoken.
The council has spoken. All in favor of Armin not here tonight, say aye.
I guess Ivy's alone.
All right.
So welcome back.
Welcome back. So...
Lots of things.
Yeah, lots of things going on this week.
It's crazy shit.
Yeah, like the shit that went down in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's some fucked up shit right there.
I think it is fucking crazy. Absolutely asinine, and that people can defend that side.
Yeah, and like, I know we've always said, like, well, at least off recording, that we wouldn't...
Get political?
Yeah, or talk about Trump just because everybody's always talking about Trump, and it seems like to be the en vogue thing. I think this is not really political about Trump. I think it's just more like the fact that he's president and the fact that he...
Like, refuses to denounce Nazis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's just fucked up.
So, the reason why I don't like talking politics is because I don't live in the U.S.
Right.
Like, I live in Canada. I don't know what it's... I spent a month, 5 weeks in the U.S., That's my extent of knowing what it's like, and that even then you don't understand.
Yeah, you don't, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm not paying taxes. I'm not working there, so I don't like talking about politics of a country that I don't live in.
Right.
So, but goes beyond fucking politics. This is
You're talking about a country that is arguably the country that I wouldn't say rules the world, but that we follow.
Yeah.
Especially being Canada and part of the UN and all that, and it's like this is like. You look at, let's say, take the Middle East, even, let's say, the Russians, you want to throw in North Korea, like they have, here's the U.S. that, let's take North Korea, like, here's the U.S. that is, leading the charge, you might say, with all the countries against North Korea. And North Korea can easily use this in their media as like, well, look, they're trying to put their nose everywhere in our business, and they have problems in their own country. It doesn't look good for the rest of the world, basically.
well, there's that, but my whole thing about this is like, we don't like talking about Trump because not my president. I really don't care.
But it's also everybody's rambling about him. It's like
everything was about, like, he doesn't like being politically correct. The whole thing that he was based off of for his election. But in the one instance where he shouldn't have been politically correct, he was politically correct against Nazis.
Yeah.
The one place where he could have gone off and he didn't.
Which arguably you can say that's him not being politically correct.
By trying not to offend Nazis?
Yeah, like, in a way, well, because he's offending everyone else.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, if that's the thought process is like, oh, I'm gonna be politically incorrect against the thing that you're supposed to be politically incorrect about, like Nazis. It's fucking ridiculous. Like, you blast everybody else, regardless of whether they should be blasted or not. But for the one thing that pretty much the entire fucking world agrees on, blast the fuck out of them. Do you punch a Nazi or not? Yes, you do. And he, takes the politician route. It's like, hey, it's not just them; it's both sides. I don't give a fuck. Like, there were assholes on the other side too, but these aren't just like the left calling the right Nazis, because there is that thing where everything's a Nazi. But these were actual Nazis. They had the flags, and the fucked up part is they're American. Americans took out Nazis.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like, I'm sure if let's say this was like, I don't know, let's say the guys in like the war veterans, they take out Hitler or they take out they overthrow the regime in Germany. They come back to North America, or let's say to the United States, right? And you tell them, yeah, dude, in a few generations from now, there's gonna be this going on. They're gonna be like, what the fuck, man? Why the fuck did we go to Germany to get rid of the Nazis when now it's happening in our own fucking country?
Yeah. And as for those fucks from Quebec in the Vice documentary, now I don't usually like Vice, but this one was just more showing a video. Now, obviously, you don't know the full extent, but you see what the guy fucking said. He's from Quebec. The whole is basically against the law to hurt someone's feelings in Canada. Get the fuck out of here, man. All right? Just because you piss people off, all right, doesn't mean that it's against the law. Yes, there are some laws on the Canadian books, and we discussed it, that are fucking stupid, 100%. But you've pissed somebody off, and you think, oh, well, now I can't piss somebody off. That's you being offended that someone else got offended. Fuck off. Grow the fuck up, all right? Don't come. It's against a lot of. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah.
You're gonna go all the way there to hang out with fucking Nazis because you don't want to. You can't call a girl a bitch or something. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and the fact somebody died. Her mother, the mother of the girl that died. What's her name? Heather Heyer.
I think so.
Yeah. She's like, you tried to silence the anti-racist movement. Well, by doing this, you might say she's died now for the cause. And the fact that now you made the anti-racist movement voice louder because now they're going to be more present, protesting against these white supremacist rallies.
Now that's something I'm not too familiar with. I know someone died. I know like a guy drove a car at around 80 miles per hour through a crowd. I don't know what happened prior to that. I don't know who the guy was in the car, whether he was a part of that movement, either did it deliberately or was just trying to get away.
No, he basically he was trying to send a message. Now he had no affiliation with the KKK or the white supremacists or the neo-Nazis. He had no affiliation with them. His mother actually thought that he was going to some Trump protest or rally. I'm not sure exactly one of those things, but he actually went for the sole purpose of causing a ruckus like this.
Okay.
And and the reason a bunch of like high-ranking military officials spoke out against, especially like what Trump said and all that, is because this guy was originally from the military also. He's a former, I guess he enrolled at some point. And they're like, we fight against this kind of stuff. Like we had a war against Nazis, and this is why they are denouncing this, and the fact that they were denouncing Trump as well. Right now, all of Trump's people are like against him. Like it's just fucked.
Because I don't condone driving through a crowd of people. No. But from one side that I heard about it was that people were crowding his car. He was trying to get away. Now, admittedly, thinking about it like that, I'm very protective of my own vehicle. Well, and if people were attacking my car, like just take me. I'm just driving, and then a crowd attacks me.
Here's what he did. Well, because of course they're getting attacked. Because what happened is he drove into the crowd. I think he slammed into another car.
Okay.
And then obviously people started to like jump, like what the fuck is this guy doing? Because they obviously saw he hit someone or a couple of people. So then they started going pouncing on the car, and he backs up. And I think he hit more people as he was backing up too.
So the thing that really gets the blood boiling from that Vice documentary was that other guy who was like saying nobody died unjustly. No regrets. It wasn't even like nobody died unjustly. The guy drove a car through people. It's like but you see they were attacking him. It scared me a little bit because I understand. Like if people were attacking my car and I'm not like if I wasn't going to a rally or something and then just like a group of fucking people started attacking my car, I'd probably run through them too.
Yeah, it's self-defense, man.
Yeah, yes, I'm in a car. Yeah. It's like you should never run through people. But if they're attacking, I'm very protective of my car. I love my car. If just random people were attacked, I'd probably drive through them too. That scared me because I was like, I understand that.
Would that be considered murder though?
I would totally
he's being charged for second-degree murder.
I would totally be in the wrong for hitting people. But that scared me because I can see where he's coming from in that angle, but they were there to cause chaos.
Yeah.
So nobody died unjustly, and the whole what did he say? We're not non-violent. If we have to get violent, we'll get violent because it was no matter what that side does, they're in the wrong. They're animals.
The funny thing is, he says they're non-violent, right?
No. But he said they were.
Well, no. But it's he's like, oh, we're non-violent, but we'll get violent if we have to.
Yeah.
Well. You're going to this march with a flak jacket armed with so many guns. Like, what do you expect is going to happen? What do you expect?
Yeah, these type of protests, it's violence. You know,
violence,
it's meant to happen. You know, like I mean, don't think you're gonna do something like that expecting nothing to happen.
And the funny thing is, Trump, when he was talking, he's like, there were fine people that were peacefully protesting. Then, like, you see the video of the people that were protesting. They're with torches walking in the street, and they're chanting Nazi stuff like blood and soil. They will not. What is it? They will not replace us. Jews will not replace us. They were chanting all of these things, saying whose streets are streets. Then they were saying white lives matter. Then you saw the other side saying black lives matter.
You know what was a crazy comparison? It was that they were protesting peacefully at what was that oil thing where like the Indian reserves, and they were trying to build a pipeline there.
Oh, right. I know what you're talking about. It's the pipeline thing.
It was at that Indian reserve where they were like a sacred burial ground.
In Charlottesville?
No, not in Charlottesville. Somewhere like a couple months ago, several months ago, there was a protest, right? And people were doing it peacefully. It was just like a sitting down and type of thing, right? And police shot them with rubber bullets. To get them away.
Yeah.
So you see that, like they're not causing any violence. They're just literally sitting there. But for this, where there is actual violence and chaos, the police didn't use rubber bullets. They did nothing.
There was violence going on from both sides for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah. So like that comparison is I'm sure someone else has an argument for like that's not equivalent. But at the same time, people sitting down isn't violent. That's like a protest. Now you may disagree with their protest, but they were silent.
Right.
They weren't doing anything.
Yeah, but like a wise man said once you get the music inside your soul, anything can happen. I mean, if you're in a protest and you're just sitting down peacefully and shit is happening, if you decide to stay, you're gonna get hit. If shit is getting out of hand, even if you're peacefully protesting, just get the fuck out of there.
Sure, but when now it's violent and there's literally chaos everywhere.
Get the fuck out of there.
But they didn't do anything.
Yeah, but it's time for them to walk away. Me, if I would protest about like I don't know, save the dogs and shit, and shit would started to throw rocks and bagels like I saw in videos, I would just walk away. Okay, it's 100%. Done for me.
There's no disagreement for me. It was more like that the police didn't do anything.
Yeah.
The police are probably scared. If they start, they're gonna get hit.
Why shoot people not saying anything and then not shoot people who are causing chaos?
No, totally, man. Police forces should have a better control on these things.
And they're saying that the guy in the car plus 4 other people are the only people that they were able to arrest. They finding it hard to find out
that seems
who these
crazy.
people are. I don't know. Like, I didn't think about it until now. Like, I just accepted that. I'm like, oh, that sucks. Like, they can only find 5 people that were involved in this stuff. And I'm thinking about it right now. I'm like, can they only find 5 people, or are they somewhat like not making an effort?
There was only 5 people that got arrested.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
and they probably got like 5 easy person to arrest.
Well, one of them is the guy in the car. Okay, so this guy, everybody knows he's getting tried for murder and all that. But the other 4, like, I don't know what the fuck they got. Like, are they even released right now? Like, what happened? Anyways,
I saw a video of people throwing bagels.
Where?
I don't know. Like the video I watched, they say since they went.
It makes sense though, because bagels are a Jewish.
Yeah, because they went out of rocks, so they decided to start throwing bagels. I just thought it was kind of funny, like what? Throwing bagels at people.
Well,
come on.
Yeah,
it's violence.
I don't even know what more to say about this. I can't believe that there's there are some people not denouncing Nazis.
Well, one thing that bothers me about the alt-right is that, like, okay, let's say like us, okay, we're not part of, like, what is it called, Antifa.
Yeah.
First of all, I never even heard of this until like this incident happened. First of all, and one thing that I find stupid is like, yeah, I might lean more to the left, but I've said this before. I'm more of a centralist. Like, I do believe in capitalism, but I do believe in like social programs for the people and stuff. So, but the problem is like these alt-right people are automatically saying if you're against them, you're automatically part of you're an alt-left, like Antifa, and it's like, man, fuck you.
Yeah, I know. I agree with that.
I hate being classified like that.
Going back to that guy who was like, they're animals. No matter what they do, they're animals. It's either like they're not attacking. Oh, well, they're animals. They're just waiting to attack us. And then when they do attack to defend themselves, they attacked us. We had no choice. It was no matter what you do, you're an animal. That's just a thought, like their belief system. That means if you're not with them, you're totally against them. Now, I had my issues with Antifa when they fucking stopped the black metal show in December of last year, because that have absolutely, like, one guy in one band 20 years ago said something that was like racist and Nazi-ish and stuff like that, and I understand that that's not okay. But to stop a black metal show where people had paid for tickets and were going, had nothing to do with
Some people
fascism.
had no idea.
No
even.
idea.
Like,
It had nothing to do with fascism.
Yeah.
They were going and protesting, saying, we don't want this year. We don't want a black metal show. It's like with Foofs stopping you from wearing a Pantera shirt or a Mayhem shirt. It's ridiculous to be on that point, to be that extreme to that point, because I'm totally against Nazis, but I do think Antifa is right in this one instance to fight the Nazis, because they are anti-fascism. But for the most part, everything is Nazi to them.
Yeah, that bothers me too. It's like, you don't believe or you don't agree with something they say. Like, it doesn't even have to be with racism or anything. Like, it could be something else that you just don't agree with, and they're automatically like, you're a Nazi. Like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
how am I a Nazi?
You're with us or against us type of thing?
Yeah, kind of thing.
With privilege, and you don't have your opinion doesn't matter because you're this. Like,
Yeah.
none of our opinions would matter because we're white straight males. Now, I'm not denouncing any privilege that we may or may not have, but at the same time, to like not have someone to say we have to open the discussion, you would have to include in an open discussion people of that side to give their arguments as well. Completely cutting them out because your opinion doesn't matter because you're this and this and this is like, it's ridiculous. If you believe that that's true, you should get an expert on it then.
One other thing that I saw just before we started recording actually was UCLA did this thing where, because white supremacists and Ku Klux Klan members wanted to show how pure they were, so they used
the DNA stuff, yeah.
DNA stuff like ancestry.com or whatever, and they realized that they're not 100% white. Like, they're not pure like they think they are.
So the thing going with ancestry,
I don't know what their reaction was. I just saw that. I was like, that's interesting.
That's always a key to fail, because ancestry.com will use DNA, and you have most of your DNA from certain parts of the world.
Yeah.
However, we do all have one common ancestor, and it does go to Africa.
Yeah.
The further back you go, the more you have.
There is a lot, like I'm sure. I mean, well, I can't be sure about myself. I don't know about myself, but let's just say, like, after a while, yes, we all originated from there, but you'll have parts of other parts of the world, and you might not even have any of that DNA left from Africa. It's quite possible.
Well, I totally do, because I have curly hair.
No, I'm not saying.
No.
I'm just
giving you
saying
an
there is
example.
a possibility.
I'm giving you an example of like where my DNA would probably show some black, some African in me, because I have like almost kinky curly hair, and it may look straight, but I fixed this.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's curly as fuck. Armin as well. Dano, 100%. Even though he's white as fuck.
A lot of the southern Italians, like Sicily, like, it's known that they have African blood in them.
What's that movie with Christopher Walken?
Oh yeah, shit. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So
the mob movie.
Yeah, that whole scene where he says eggplant and stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
That
That
technically
is true.
factual.
That is true. What else was there? There was. I know. I don't know about myself, but one of my cousins that lives in Calgary went to ancestry.ca and found out that on his paternal side, which is the basically his father, which is the brother of my mother, on that side there is some Turkish DNA. Now, my grandfather has no idea, but we're assuming it's from my grandfather's side because he's a little darker. But I mean, he has no idea. He's like, my grandfather or even great grandfather were in Italy. So he's like, but you know, it's quite possible that if you go back a bunch of generations, there's Turkish blood. And I've also been told by a few Lebanese, ones that are kind of what do you call it? I wouldn't say psychic, but they tend to get vibes. And they're known to have
like the spiritual
spiritual stuff. I've been told, like, I think there's Lebanese blood in you. And I'm like, it's possible, but I don't see it. You just saying it just because, you know, you're Lebanese. They're like, no, like, I don't see it in him. I don't see it in him. I just detect that feeling from you.
Happened more than once, or?
Yeah, it happened more than once,
really?
like 2 or 3 times. and various different periods of my life, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
Without a DNA test, I'm pretty certain.
I would like to do a DNA test.
I would like to do it too, but without one, I'm pretty certain my family tree stays in the Azores Islands of Portugal for like hundreds of years. There's too many diseases in my family for there not to have been some inbreeding several hundred years ago. Because if you go back, there's inbreeding is rampant. Like maybe more than 400 or 500 years ago, it was like the good examples are royalty. They were like at one point this one of the kings had 4 great grandparents. You're supposed to have 8. Had 4 great grandparents because of all the rampant inbreeding. Today, there's laws against that, and you're disgusted by like even dating your cousin. So back then, it wasn't a thing. I think small islands like where my family came from, hundreds of years ago, there was some inbreeding because there's way too many diseases. Yeah, it wasn't the same. It was like 3 hours of a boat to get.
They also say the more that races mix, like eventually, like this is going to take a long time. But let's say we get to 4,000 or 5,000 years from now.
Yeah.
Because of how much we travel and how much people migrate like easily, they say that there might end up being one race eventually. And
I see it happening.
Yeah, and the fact, the more you mix with different races, the more you start getting rid of genetic defects.
Yeah, genetic diversity.
Yeah. So like a lot of things that certain there's right now it's known certain races they're more likely to be lactose intolerant, more likely to get diabetes, more likely to get this, to get that, whatever. Certain nationalities are more likely for this and more likely to get those type of diseases. Whether it's heart disease, whatever. But the more you mix, the less of these genetic defects, you might say, will exist.
I know dog had that. I know humans were the same thing. Like pure breed dogs usually have like some.
Well, it's the same mechanism.
But when they mix, they're
It's the same evolution standpoint. They keep having the
that.
same like recessive genes from the same family members because there's 2 now. There's a higher likelihood that those genes will become active. And if you look at like a bulldog from like 1901 and a bulldog today.
Yeah.
Because there was no breed. There is no real breed of dog. It's just they kept putting the ones that look the same and trying to get those same qualities out of it. And now bulldogs are like in danger. Like most of them need surgeries when they're born and stuff like that. It's the same thing with humans. It's just humans said like, no, you don't want to do that shit, man. It's disgusting, and you're gonna have babies with no fucking ears and shit.
Well, I think society just turned it that way.
Turned it into that way.
Yeah,
and it's the best thing.
Yeah, it's the best thing. And the other thing is like I got this fucked up rare vision problem, and like my mom and my dad, their family didn't know each other. I mean, they're not related, but my mom's mother, so my grandmother, is a Vincelli. And my grandfather on my dad's side is a Vincelli, but nothing to do with each other, but they're from the same fucking town in Italy. Wow. So going back generations for sure, they're related. So this is, and that's what the doctor said when he first saw when they started knowing what this was. They're like, man, this is really rare. It's like, how the hell did your parents have the same gene? Because this is a really rare disease or genetic defect. And I said, well, they're from the same town, but they're not related. He's like, well, if especially in those days in the poor areas, whatever, like, man, they didn't move around much. So it's highly possible that my parents are related in some way if you go back.
Wow.
Well, like the way it works is like, so you have 2 parents, right, and 1 kid. Or 2 kids, you share 50% of your DNA with your sibling, right? So that's the closest to you relative is your kin, your sibling, right? And then like you go up the ladder, there's percentages, right? So once it's past like the 2nd, 3rd, 4th cousin stage, you're basically the same percentage of DNA as the rest of the population. It's still not something we do. Like unless you don't know, because you still like cousin. But the whole Vincelli thing, it might have been 4th or 5th generation cousins, like really separated, and you just got bad luck with that genetic.
My sister didn't get it, but then again, my sister's the only one. Well, actually, what's funny, I have two cousins who both their parents are Vincellis.
No,
but they're not related either.
Yeah, so I have kind of the same thing.
Actually, the only thing that one of the cousins has is epilepsy, but I mean epilepsy is not something that's specific. You know, it's not. I wouldn't say it's rare, but it's not uncommon either.
Yeah. So I have the same type of thing with my my father's parents and my mother's parents. So my father's father, my grandfather, he had several last names that he had to pick one when he came to Canada. He picked like my last. However, on my mother's side of the family, her father, my other grandfather, also had his last name, but it wasn't his main last one. He went with his main last one, which is Pimentel. Mm-hmm. So, see, they're all from the same island, just different parts. So if you take like Montreal as an island, you would take like Saint Leonard and then like fucking the West Island. It's like two completely different parts of Montreal, but still in Montreal. That's how it was like. They have the same last name.
And that island is further into the Atlantic. It's not very close to the mainland.
Away.
Like you really so they're, unless they made a boat, which was highly unlikely.
So I know that my mother's last name Pimentel goes back, like that came from like Jews. They made them change religion. But to do that, they had to change their name. Like, if you don't want to like be persecuted, you have to have a Portuguese last name. So Pimentel comes from the Portuguese word for like pepper. So I have some Jewish going back hundreds of years. Like, we're talking about like when they settled in the Azores Island, like the 1500s. So that's when they changed everything over. I don't know about my father's side of the family. It's a much harder name to find. But they had the same last name that my grandparents.
What about you? Do you know how far back your generation goes? Like when they came from France over here?
I don't know when was the date, but like most Québécois like me, it's France. Like it was
no,
there,
for sure
but
there,
I don't have a date.
You don't have a date because
like,
I know my ex-wife, like her mother, she knew now, I forget, but I know that they knew from which part of France even, and they knew like roughly the generation when it was. If I'm not mistaken, it was late 1700s, early 1800s.
It's funny you ask because my mom not too long ago she told me she did that tree and I didn't see it yet, but I mean I'm probably gonna learn it from there.
Check it out. I'm curious.
It's getting more and more like popular. People are starting to do that, and I think it's kind of cool, man.
You know what I found out? Ancestry.com was started by a Ku Klux Klan member.
Really?
So I'm wondering, what if they're doing this to assemble all kinds of data on people?
Jesus
wow,
Christ,
that'd be
man.
You know, it's clever. it's very clever, but it's very weird.
It's very weird.
Very, very weird. So there's that. Yeah. So how about we shift topics here?
Topics.
Fucking McGregor, Mayweather, the bout of the century. Probably,
Jesus Christ.
I don't think there's going to be anything bigger
They're
than
promoting this thing exactly like pro wrestling. It's like a
man,
WrestleMania event.
It is.
Well, it's definitely, if not the biggest, one of the biggest fights in history.
Yeah, like if you look at what they're doing, like they're doing a press conference, but it's a tour.
Yeah.
You know, right? They went to Toronto. They went to New York. Like, you don't do this.
No.
Normally it's one press conference, right?
Yeah.
And
Usually, like they do multiple press conference, but there's only usually one big press conference.
That's what
they
I
made
meant,
like a 4 fucking city wide. They call it a world tour. It wasn't really.
And they're
but
going to fucking stadiums or arenas
man,
or
and
whatever.
it was fucking like if the Bell Center was full, even bigger places with people just for fucking.
Just see them shit talk.
Yeah.
It's
But it was
like a
amazing,
Monday Night Raw, basically.
The fourth night was kind of long. I figured at one point it was kind of dragging a little, but the first 2 nights they did Toronto, I think the first one was
Toronto was the first one, I think.
I think it was the second night. It was in Toronto. Anyways, the first 2 was fucking amazing. Like I still believe it's a circus act, like the fight what it is, I think it sucks for Mayweather, I think you mentioned that earlier today, any situation it's bad for him, like if he loses record and he doesn't have the record anymore because now it's equal, and if he wins, well, you have the record now, but you didn't beat a boxer, so he kind of cheated his way through, so it's he's doing it for the money. I mean, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
But it just sucks that on his record, yes, you'll be the most undefeated guys on the record, but there's going to be a little star there.
Well, I think if it goes to decision, like I said last time, if it goes to decision, it's a real fight. McGregor held his own, and didn't get knocked out. And it went to a decision.
What if McGregor knocks him out, though?
If McGregor knocks him out, that's a real 49-1, man.
No, I know, but I mean,
I don't think so.
You don't think he's going to knock him out? I mean, obviously, logically speaking, no, because it's like saying, I don't know, take a hockey player and say, we're going to put him in the NBA. Or like take the Montreal Canadiens to face the Lakers.
I think it's like
you
taking
know, like
Cliff
obviously.
Burton and have him play guitar with like Michelangelo Badio.
Okay.
You know, one of the best bass players of all time, one of the best guitarists of all time, and then the bass player switching over to guitar because his fingers move the same way.
But I like that better than the team because, I mean, MMA, they're still boxing in MMA. So, I mean, they kind of relate somehow,
They
like
relate,
in
but-
the sport of fightings.
You
But
see,
I mean, it just sucks for that level. Like, it's going to be great, man. I mean, it's going to be a fucking event. I want to see it. I think it's either McGregor going to knock him out quickly because it's just going to connect. And they changed the glove too as well. It's 8 ounces instead of 10.
Yeah.
So that's even harder. You know, like Mayweather can take a hit, but McGregor can hit as fucks, but he can take hits because he's used to getting almost knuckle
because
hits on his face.
because they get
Mayweather
four
doesn't
ounce,
have
4 ounce gloves in
Mayweather
in MMA.
doesn't knock people out, Dan. It's been the longest time. So I mean, it's great because for the first time you can bet on Mayweather to win in the decision and double your money even more because the odd has been changing. The first time I think for fucking ever you can bet Mayweather, let's say $50, and you can win that $50 back. That never happened before.
Yeah.
I think that's great for that. That's what I bet it because I know what's gonna happen. McGregor's gonna start, is gonna do his shit. The first 2-3 rounds gonna be like equal. They're gonna analyze each other a little bit. Then Mayweather's gonna win a few rounds, and then the last 4 rounds, Mayweather's just gonna fucking dance around because he was winning.
So I was watching Rogan's podcast, and they had a whole literally a whole podcast, not exactly designated towards Mayweather versus McGregor, but the majority of the discussion was Mayweather versus McGregor, and one of the discussions was like if it goes to the decision, it's almost like 100% it's going to be Mayweather. They don't think like McGregor outboxing Mayweather is something. Like
It's highly unlikely.
very, very, very unlikely that he would outbox a guy who's boxing his entire life. Now, they do say there's a likelihood he could knock him out, though.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, every fight Mayweather was in, there was a chance of him to being knocked out.
Yeah.
Man, that's the sport, you know. I mean,
He has a
one
long
punch.
reach too, right?
Yeah, I mean,
But it's not as long as McGregor's. I think McGregor has the advantage on the reach.
Oh, really?
I think
But
so.
I mean, like, it's boxing, man. One
Yeah.
punch can change everything. So
Oh, yeah,
yes,
100%.
Mayweather can use, but fucking Mayweather, he doesn't have power, but have the defense skills. You know,
Yeah.
you cannot touch him.
You can't,
But if
yeah.
he gets touched clean, he could be knocked out.
possible.
You know?
I was watching the video of the training of not the warm up because that was hilarious. Yeah. But the training,
wiggle.
it was against. I can't remember his last name, but Paul.
Paulie Malalaji.
That's it,
Malalaji,
something like
yeah,
that. McGregor had asked to spar with him or whatever, to train with him. So he said, okay, but I haven't been training at all. Like I'm out of shape and stuff. But he still came down.
Yeah.
And they showed a small snippet of him fighting him, and even Rogan was like, he's fighting dirty. He's holding the back of the head and punching. It's not something that's illegal, but it's dirty.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But you guys got to know the backstory of this because Paulie is a commentator on Showtime, right?
Yeah.
And months ago, before the Mayweather and McGregor fight was done, Paulie said in an interview that if McGregor wants to be in a boxing ring, I can beat him up with one hand in the
He
back.
did
of
say
him.
that,
He
yeah.
did so
okay, that was him, right?
Yeah, the reason why McGregor did the training with him because I'm pretty sure in his head is I'm gonna fucking knock his ass.
It's
out.
psychological
of course,
for,
of course.
yeah,
And the
fuck.
video, a lot of people say is a push, but I mean, there's so much I can judge in 5 seconds. Like we don't
know what round it was
it-
because
It kind of looked like to me.
But it
when I
looked
see
like
it,
a weird punch,
I,
though.
I see it as a knockdown, man. A lot of people are trying to say it's push.
No,
A
it
lot
was
of-
total knockdown.
A lot of
100%.
people in the boxing scene are like, yeah, it was a push. But when you look at it, man,
I
was
think
not
they're
a
just
knockdown.
saying that
it
because
was awkward, but it was a knockdown.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're saying that because they're used to the way boxers move. This is the first time you're getting a non-boxer entering the ring, and like we see in MMA, both fighters will have different styles.
Yeah.
So they're not used to seeing. I mean, yes, boxing has different styles, but it's the end of the day, it's still boxer versus boxer, right?
Yeah.
So they're not used to seeing this guy with a different style come in and do a punch like that.
I don't know, I think-
it looked like a weird punch, but at the end of the day, it was a fucking
The punch
like,
before that, a straight left to the face.
Yeah.
Just to that, he was already a little bit.
Honestly,
off, man.
I think most of the community is just not wanting to let it go that it was a
think so.
knockdown.
Yeah, exactly,
But we
it
don't like.
was.
There's context that needs to be applied to the video. You don't know what round it was. The guy is not in shape. He said it, and McGregor is in the toppest shape of his
Exactly.
life. He's young.
He's also in the weight class.
Yes.
He dropped weight to get in the weight class that he's the best at.
Yes. So I can't say that. Oh, he's gonna dominate this because the other guy isn't in his top form. I don't know how old he is, and
No, he's retired from boxing.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
he used to be
2 years.
very, very good boxer, Paulie. But now,
Oh, that guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't really train to be a boxer. He's commentating on
Exactly.
Showtime.
So
So I mean, I guess it was a good sparring partner. But you cannot judge McGregor performance
No, of course
out of
not.
a fucking.
That's what I'm saying. Because it changed
out
the
of this
odds.
because Paulie was never Mayweather, and best of Paulie is not better than Mayweather of today. So I mean, who cares if he knocked him
Now,
out? You know what I'm saying?
Fair enough.
Do you think Mayweather is overconfident going into this fight, or do you think he does have some sort of fear in the back of his mind that, hey, this guy can knock me out?
I'm scared, man. Just the glove
No,
thing.
not you, but you think he...
Well, I'm scared because I think that's Mayweather. I think he kind of got into a move because Mayweather is allowing his face. Oh, change the glove, and Floyd was like, no, in my weight class it's 10 ounces, And then at one point, Mayweather say, yeah, we'll change the glove. And then the rematch, we can do it in octagon. Like I think he. Calm down, man. Calm down, man.
Oh.
You're the A side. Play your usual game. You play because you win. Now, if you're getting him more of his gloves and all that, I mean, it's just. I think it's a minus for him. Less chance for him to win because yes, I think he's playing the overconfidence. He was never like this for the longest time in any conference. The way he was like cocky, the way he's like, yeah, motherfucker. Mayweather was not like this before, man. He used to be very calm, very like money. I like to think like Showtime.
I think, to be honest,
he got into the McGregor, but I think because he wanted to make it good. He wanted people to buy the pay-per-view and all that. But the glove thing for me was like, oh man, bad move.
I think the overconfidence, because I didn't really see it. I saw the early stuff. I think it was just because he got tired of McGregor always like shitting on him. Like, all right, like for me, I was like, dude, just fucking say something already. And I guess now he's being.
Oh,
more confident
Mayweather
about
won
it.
all the fucking conferences.
Because
man.
When the guy is keeping quiet and stuff like
Really? I would say McGregor destroyed Mayweather.
That's
in the
what I'm
you
saying.
think so?
Oh, okay. I thought you said.
No,
oh,
during the
no.
conferences, I thought Mayweather always had the higher hands.
I don't know.
man.
No, I thought like McGregor totally like
McGregor
trashed him. Man.
talks his mouth like
but the-
so
I
well.
thought
thing
it was
was-
always. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Sorry. Well, to me it was, if I had been in Mayweather's place, that shit talking would have ended. I would have been like, all right, shut the fuck up, all right? You're saying the same goddamn thing every fucking day. Look, you're talking about your fucking pinstripes. Ooh, I put fuck you. You're not supposed to tell people that. You're supposed to let people read it and say, holy shit, that's clever. You fuck. It would be really easy to talk shit to him.
Right.
I just
know.
like Mayweather just sitting there. I was like, come on, man, say something. He's saying the same thing every day.
No, but guys, this is like boxing, man. Usually those press conferences, one guy talks, another guy talks, and sometimes like they interfere, it's eat up, then it gets intense. But McGregor was always interfering. Mayweather.
Turn off his mic.
saying, yeah.
Turn off his mic.
Yeah, I
at
know,
one
but
point.
yeah, exactly. The first night they turned off, that was a bit too much, maybe. But McGregor, man, he's kind of insulting the world of boxing as well. You know, when he say,
That's
no,
what I
it's
don't like.
half a fight. You know, you guys are not real fights. Like, dude, shut up, man. I mean, calm the fuck down.
I understand
man.
with
he was
what he's
saying
saying.
fuck you like to the fucking like executive producer. I don't know, like the president of Showtime. Like, you piece of shit. No. It's like, dude, man, he's so disrespectful towards everyone. You don't say that the boxers are little fucking
Well, what he was-
posers
I-
and you're half a fighter.
Well,
It's like,
I
shut
think
up,
what he
man.
said was something along the lines of like, you know that if this was a real fight, you would lose. Well, referring to that a real fight is in the
Street
UFC.
fight. No, I thought it was more of like a street
Well,
fight.
I-
A
There
real
was no
fight to me
rules.
is a street fight.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
but
what
a
it
UFC is more of a street fight than
way closer, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's more of a street fight than
It takes
boxing
more, it takes
is.
more skill set, that's for sure.
Right? So I think in that sense, I think there is no question that if it was a UFC fight, McGregor is taking it. This
Oh,
one,
yeah.
there might be a chance McGregor gets it, but there's still it's in the favor of Mayweather.
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's better skill set, man, because boxing, you know,
It's
like
not better.
Not a
skill
better
set,
skill
it's
set.
you
more
know,
skill
like
set.
more skill set,
Jack
not
of all
necessarily.
trade, master of none. You know,
Right.
that's a bit how I see MMA because they all know a lot of type of fighting style. But if you go into boxing and you fight a fucking 100% boxer, you're gonna lose.
Well, not necessarily. At
yeah.
that point, having as I'm more of the guy who prefers being the jack of all trades and the master of none.
Really?
Yeah.
I think in a
because-
fighting thing, I don't think so.
No,
man.
because then it comes down to how smart you are. Even Mike Tyson, being a boxer, said it has nothing to do with power or anything. It's got to be how smart you are in the ring.
Yeah, but Mayweather's the smarter boxer.
I
man.
agree,
Like, for
100%.
that, man,
Not
that's
taking anything away from
Yeah.
that, but in UFC being jack of all trades for that.
Well,
it
for
is
them,
about-
for them is good. But
yeah.
I'm saying in boxing,
That's why Mayweather has the higher odds, because he's a sole boxer.
Exactly.
But what I don't like about McGregor, going back to this, I love the arrogance. I think arrogance is something that people detest for absolutely no reason. Now, being arrogant about a skill set you don't have or isn't good, I think is just stupid. Like, you don't have it. If you're good at something, fucking tell people you're good at it.
Exactly.
I like that.
I also think he's doing it to get in his head.
Oh, of course.
I think,
and to sell.
I like
pay-per-view
arrogance. I don't like the disrespect. I know they are not the same.
They're not.
They're not mutually exclusive. You can be arrogant and still respect something.
Yeah.
You could say, I'm the best at this, I'm going to dominate it.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of like, he's an amazing fighter though.
I think, one of the reasons why I kind of, in this instance, I kind of like the disrespect is because it reminds me a lot of wrestling when it was the WWF and it was the Attitude Era with like Stone Cold, The Rock. Like, they were, I guess, arrogant, but they also, I mean, I know it's more entertainment, but they were very much like disrespectful. So for me, I miss that era, and seeing McGregor talk shit like this and actually be able to swear and cuss and all that, I think I like that.
But the thing is, that was in one organization, right? Now, you may have had the WCW and WWE, but they're the same. This guy, McGregor, now, nothing taken away, he's an amazing fighter. He's a champion of 2 weight classes. That's never been done before. That's insane. He was egging on Mayweather to do the box. Obviously, after hearing this motherfucker talk so many times, he's gonna say, you know what? Fine, let's do this fight. Let's make some money. He was the one egging the boxing community to let him do that. And you're right. He was talking all kinds of shit about boxing, all kinds of shit. And then he goes. And I think it was a whole bunch of disrespect. And then he says, well, the boxing community doesn't want to help me. I'm going to prove them all wrong. Well, what do you think they don't want to help you? You keep shit-talking them, saying they're not real fighters and everything.
But that's probably what worked for Mayweather to say, when he saw he's bitching about boxing, Mayweather's like, fuck him, man. I'm going to kick his ass.
He was having a hard time finding training partners because nobody wanted to help McGregor. They might love the UFC and love him as a fighter. They don't want to turn their back on the boxing community because he is disrespecting everybody in the boxing community.
That's the thing, man. Be disrespectful to Mayweather, be disrespectful to Mayweather Senior, to the Mayweather team, but just when he was on stage and shitting on the Showtime president, like, relax, man. The guy's sitting there just watching and just trying to promote his thing.
He has nothing to do with it,
like saying
actually.
to shut up. Then I felt uncomfortable, like in wrestling, that could have been like the Vince McMahon almost, and that was fine because it was wrestling.
Part of the storyline too.
Exactly, but for that, anyways, whatever, man. I think it's fun. At the bottom line of it, it's fucking fun to watch.
Yeah, it's fun. It's hilarious.
And the fight's gonna be fun to watch. But at the end of the day, we're all winning.
And if I'm not mistaken, does UFC have a higher buy rate than for pay-per-views than
I'm
boxing?
not sure. I was reading about the top, like Aaron Ward or Andre Ward. Who's the
Andre Ward.
He only had like 160,000 pay-per-views.
UFC, they're
much
they're
higher.
Yeah.
Definitely more.
So the fact is, this fight is gonna bring a lot
of
to the boxing world.
Joe Rogan said that.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So like, I haven't heard it. I saw it downloaded on my phone, but I didn't.
There was a lot about it. He said that the boxing community, like, this fight's gonna be the biggest pay-per-view because of UFC fans, not because of boxing fans.
But imagine if
McGregor
wins.
I think even old boxing fans that might not necessarily watch now are going to be watching. There's so much press about it that anybody that is remotely interested is going to somehow find a way to watch this fight.
Because I don't care about boxing or UFC, but this is like, I got to watch this. This is
I care about UFC. I know you care more about boxing, but I don't mind watching a boxing fight. It's still, to me, like, when I see them hit, I'm like, wow, fuck. Like,
boxing has a lot to lose, man. If Mayweather loses, man.
That's what I'm saying, man. He should have, even like, being a fighter, being like one of the greatest boxers of all time, he should have respect. You could be arrogant as fuck, go for it, but have some respect for the champion like that. Don't disrespect him, Mr. T style in Rocky 3, because this is the way I'm seeing it, right? Don't disrespect this guy. He's the one who gave you the fight, because without him giving you the fight, you're still saying he doesn't want to fight me. He's a little bitch. He's like, yes, you're already big in UFC. This is going to make you over the top if you win. He has absolutely nothing to lose. If he loses, oh well, I lost against Mayweather. But what about all the shit talking? A real arrogant person doesn't really care.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and he doesn't care.
Oh well.
He doesn't. He doesn't care.
That's what
When he
care
loses,
about.
like that time when he lost, when he first went up in a weight class, He was
didn't
humble.
care.
He
Right.
said, well, the better man won.
Oh, and they probably get a
That's
hug
it.
at the end of the fight.
A
as
real
well,
arrogant person's like, I know my skill set. I wasn't that good that time. Oh well, it doesn't bring my morale down, and I know
Guys,
that even if he loses, it will
he's
be.
worth 25 million. After the fight, he's worth more than 100 million.
Yes,
so for
it
him,
was-
man.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. And he's
So-
not even 30 years old.
So if he loses, he's making crazy money.
Yeah, win
if
or
he
lose, he's making
wins,
money, man.
not only is he making crazy money, he just beat Mayweather.
Exactly.
and
he
the
gave him the one.
sponsorships that he's going to
Oh,
get.
everything. Man. He's
Everything.
the top of the world.
There's
man. Like,
nothing.
you know,
There's
Yeah.
nothing that he could lose with this.
Oh, nothing.
Mayweather loses both ways.
everything, man.
So I think he should have some fucking respect for those guys and the boxing community for even letting this shit happen. No matter how much money and pay-per-view and how much like press this is, because without Mayweather doing that,
Yeah.
McGregor is still just one of the greatest fighters in the UFC and not a worldwide superstar, 100 millionaire that he's gonna become.
Yeah, at the end of the day, man, like respect, disrespect, and all that. You know, like that was a fight that could have sell itself without anything.
Oh, that's
I
true.
just appreciate that they did all of that. You know.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
so
yeah, yeah,
cool, man.
100%.
It's so
It
cool.
is.
It's
So
very,
fun.
very cool. And I mean, we first talked about this when it was kind of almost first announced about McGregor and Mayweather, and you know how the odds were, at least in the beginning, were very split. Now I don't really think that
No,
like
man,
how split they were. I think
Before
they're
it
more
was- no,
realistic
it was
now.
different. Before,
I know.
like
it was like,
Mayweather was
ridiculous.
like he was winning, and McGregor, no, but now they're getting closer.
no,
and closer
that's what I mean.
together.
No, I
Yeah,
think at the beginning they were very unrealistic.
Exactly.
I think it's more realistic to where it is today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the beginning was like any Mayweather fight, you know, like it's like if you bet $100, you're gonna win $10. It's not even worth it.
So
to try,
I
you know?
initially said that it probably is going to be as bad as CM Punk. I think I was stupid like that. 100%. I don't think it's going to be that.
No,
he
it's
knows how
gonna
to
be
fight.
good.
He
Yeah.
knows how to box. I don't think. 100% no knockout for Mayweather. I don't think McGregor's going to knock him out. I think it's going to be decision for Mayweather.
Dude, what I can wait, man, when the fucking bell ring, like the first 30 seconds, just to see the stance of fucking McGregor, the way he's gonna
Yeah,
be. Like, that's
I'm
gonna
very
be like,
curious
is he
to
gonna
see.
pretend to kick, like not lifting his head, but just kind of turning around like this,
Right,
just to
right.
throw Mayweather off, and maybe then boom, you know, you hit him.
I think
think he should do
actually, I
shit
think
like that, man.
Mayweather would let him kick him.
Well, of course, because then he's disqualified.
Exactly.
and
So I don't
big
think
shit.
I don't think he'll react. to
No,
a
I
kick.
know, but I mean, imagine if you just pretend to kick, so Mayweather is gonna get in his head, you know, like fuck what.
What is this guy
No,
gonna
that's
do?
what I think. I think in his head, if he's doing the smart thing, let him fucking kick me. Don't flinch, because if he's faking a kick, I don't flinch. I can still keep my guard. And if he does kick me, I win.
Yeah. Anyways, it's gonna be a
Anyways.
fucking good event, guys.
Yeah.
I can't wait. We'll definitely show our reactions
Yeah.
when that shit
We
happens.
should film that.
Yeah, 100%. It's gonna be real cool. We're gonna be at Georgie's place. I'm betting for the first time in my life because of this, because this is something I can.
Yeah, I think I want to bet also on
There's
this.
two sides that I actually am invested in
Yeah.
knowing what's going on
Yeah.
and the secrecy in there, and the Rogan podcast where it's very knowledgeable about both sides. I mean, there are UFC guys who are on there.
I want to
and
listen to that before I see the fight.
It's very good,
Yeah,
very
I
good.
gotta watch it.
A,
I'd listen to
a
it.
good point Joe Rogan had a while ago was, he was talking about Mayweather and McGregor. He's like, I think there's like a high 90% chance, like high 90s of Mayweather winning. But then he said, but if it was Mayweather going into the UFC, he's like, I feel it's 100% for McGregor. I feel the same way.
I believe that
100%.
too. I
That
believe
too.
that too.
Like, he only has one skill set.
Because McGregor already know boxing to a certain level.
Yeah, exactly.
Mayweather doesn't know shit about like submission moves and all
Yeah.
that. You know, like I mean,
Exactly.
yeah.
He
Yeah,
doesn't.
he would get killed probably like CM Punk.
Right.
And
Yeah.
another
Or
reason,
almost.
Oh, yeah.
another
Yeah,
reason
so-
that going back to the whole skill set thing
Yeah.
and like jack of all trades. In the beginning of the UFC, you had
Oh
really
yeah,
the only
it was
way,
a free for all.
It was a free for all,
It
but
was
you
like
really,
a cop versus a sumo wrestler.
but you really
Yeah.
only had to know wrestling and boxing.
Yeah.
And now today they say, wait, you don't like if you only know wrestling and boxing, yeah, you're gonna totally lose. You got to be good on your kicks. You got to be good worldwide on everything.
Yeah, exactly.
well balanced.
Well balanced across all disciplines to be able to even compete in the UFC, let alone
Yeah,
Well,
no, no
yeah.
shit, man. Like
Yeah.
I think like athlete wise, I'm not ready to say that they're better athlete, but I mean I understand that like McGregor say like in a real fight, if it was like in a UFC, you get able to kick, do submission. You put those two in the street with no weapons, McGregor's gonna win.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
Yeah.
there's like the best example of this is like Rocky V, where it's a street fight.
Yeah.
Things you're not allowed to do in UFC or boxing.
Yeah.
Hit the back of the neck. That's something a street fight that you probably couldn't start fighting anymore after getting hit that many times on the back of the neck. You just keep crushing it if you're
Yeah.
a good
Dude,
boxer.
when UFC first came out, it was the only illegal thing
Yeah.
was poke to the eyes, if I'm not mistaken. Because I remember they were hitting each other in the balls and shit. Like it was,
God
they
damn.
saw an
Breaking
opening
fingers and shit.
and they would like smash. It was like, Jesus Christ, how the fuck are you still continuing? Like,
Well,
anyways.
you see that in I think it was Rollerball. Rollerball, where he goes into like an underground club and it's actual UFC fighters from that time. I think like 2001, 2002, real early, and they were actually fighting in the scenes, and it was cage match, and they were real blood in the cameras, and they had to do like 20, 30 takes, and they kept wanting to do it, and they're like, we can't, you're gonna kill yourselves, because it was actual, like they were
actually
savage, yeah. So,
Anyway.
yeah,
So
I guess that's it
Yeah.
for this week.
final.
You know what I like about this week?
What?
Is that I watched the leak episode of Game of Thrones.
You did?
Yeah, so I can
Don't say
just, I know,
shit.
I'm not going to say
Game
shit,
of Thrones.
but it's actually fun to actually know what's coming up because we always record Friday and
Right.
release on Monday, so we've never seen Game of Thrones. So, wow, guys, wow.
I don't
Well,
watch Game of Thrones.
Look,
One day maybe you will and you will fucking enjoy it.
the only thing I'll say is I saw the preview for
Okay.
the next one. So spoiler alert for those that didn't see
Spoiler
the last
alert!
episode. But I just thought it was cool that the trailer said winter is here, and it's true because the way the last episode ended, it was like where they were going and everything. And it's like, man, I made the joke today. I'm like, man, it only took them 7 seasons to get there. So, like for winter to come.
Yeah.
Finally.
But what a fucking episode it is.
It looks crazy. I can't wait for this Sunday.
Oh,
Anyway,
my God.
Final confessions.
Yeah, if we go back to first topic, I think my main point was if you don't want to get hit, don't go in fucking protesting, man. You know, it's like you talk about metal music. You know, like if you go to a Slayer show and don't expect to get hit, just don't go to a Slayer show. You know what I'm
well,
saying? Like,
I think what you
protesting, just get
mean
out, you know?
is don't go in the pit.
Well, don't go in the pit, but
because you
know
can
what I mean,
go to
right?
the bar and not get hit.
Like
you know what I
somebody
mean?
else
Yeah.
said, you know, if you walk into a club and don't expect to get hit, you know, like same
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
here,
yeah.
man. If you go to protest and shit are getting fucked up, get out of there, you know.
Yeah.
I'm happy about the culture mixing because Rosemary is Italian, I'm Quebecois, so our child are probably going to be healthy.
Italian.
Watch Game of Thrones. Mayweather's going to win. That's it for me.
I'll just say, well, fuck white supremacists and KKK and neo-Nazis and anything of that sort, of that nature. And I'm going to go on record and say that I think McGregor will take it.
Wow.
I'm going to say that. Even though I know on paper, logically, Mayweather has the advantage, but I'm going to say that McGregor's going to win by knockout.
Let me jump in your last confession.
Go
You
ahead.
said that you wanted to bet for this fight. Would you bet with me?
Oh, I thought I was going to do something. Oh, okay.
Like on
we
the side, you know?
Sure.
You can like bet
sure,
like $5.
Sure.
$5.
I'm in. $5.
Perfect.
You saw it here first.
My final confessions. Fuck Nazis. Fuck white supremacists. Y'all can go get fucked. Your Nazi boys are bitches. 100%.
Bitches.
As far as McGregor, Mayweather, I'm still Mayweather, and I think Mayweather's gonna win in a decision. I'd be really shocked if he gets knocked out. I'm still putting money on that though, because I'm gonna put money on both sides. But I do think Mayweather's gonna have it. Reiterating that I think arrogance is awesome. Disrespect ain't cool though. Don't disrespect. So with that, I leave you with some disrespect, guys. I only have a couple words to say to you.
See ya!
Hard work!
Hard work! Dedication.
Hard work! Hard work!
How about the 3 I's? Intensity, intelligence, and integrity.